Good evening, everybody, and welcome to Will's webinars, the very first Will's webinars, and I'm really excited to be doing this, and we've got a fantastic guest on here this evening. So I just want to make sure, first of all, that everybody that is logged in, got a few people that are still getting online, are hearing me okay and can see my screen okay. So if you can just pop a message in the message box, just say hi, just so we want to make sure that people are hearing me okay and everything's working nice and smoothly. So we've got Catherine, we've got Paul, we've got Gary, we've got Karen, we've got Travis, we've got Kieran, people from all over the UK, we've got Sarah. All right, guys. Fantastic. We've got Nathan. So people from all over the UK. So this is great for me because I obviously have the privilege of no sound, no picture from Sue. Has everybody else got sound and everybody else got picture? So Nathan can hear us fine. Elaine and Imran, yes and yes. Okay. Not too sure, Sue. Ellis has the chat box but no screen. Ellis can't see anything. Okay, so a few technical issues for some people. Just want to make sure. Log out and log back in. Good old fashioned a log out and log back in. That's almost as good as a shut down and start back up. Those of you that are, so it's Sue and Ellis that are struggling at the moment, are you using Google Chrome as your provider? Let's see what they've got going on. You are, yeah? Okay. Ellis, yeah, try logging out and logging back in again. Hopefully that does have an impact. So for anybody else, I know there's a few people that are just logging in now, so we just want to make sure everything's working okay for everybody. So John, I know you're logging in. I think you're logging in via your phone. If you can just let us know that you are able to hear us okay, you're able to see us okay. Emma as well. I don't think we've seen a message from you just yet. Also Kate, that'd be great if you could just let us know using the chat box that you can see the screen and that you are logged in okay. Paul's working okay. Let's see if we can get Ellis, and Ellis is logging out and logging back in. So I hope everybody's had a good day, and for those of you again that are just logging in late, this is the very first Will's webinar. So what's the purpose of these webinars? So what I want to do is every few weeks I have the real privilege, and it really is a real privilege, thanks to the Elite Network, is I get to have the privilege of having some of the best peak performance coaches, speakers, trainers, people that work in the personal development industry that have a mission and a drive to want to see other people improve themselves on a personal level. And sorry, I'm just seeing Sue's message flash up. Everything good now. Okay, cool. So we've got Sue on board. Everything working. Good old-fashioned log out and log it back in work. So, yeah, so it's a case of I have the privilege of getting these people together, and I know that a lot of these people come from a great place of service. Now, obviously, I'm very passionate about personal development myself. I've got a lot of knowledge and experience that I've been building up and going to continue to build up on. But I thought it would be a great opportunity for me to share with some of these great people that some of you have already seen speak at the likes of the Elite Network and seen them live. Some of you that haven't, to be able to share again via the wonderful thing that is the internet. So that's the whole idea of this. And this evening we are going to be learning some peak performance secrets from Raghav Parkash. Raghav, are you on the call? I just want to make sure you can hear me okay. I know we were just speaking a moment ago, but we're being in presenter mode. I just want to make sure that you can still hear me okay at the moment.
I'm here. I hope this is coming through.
Fantastic. So can you guys hear Raghav okay? If you can just let me know you can hear Raghav. If not, then we might have a little thing. You can. Fantastic. So we're both on.
Not, yeah.
So we'll. I'll do a proper introduction to you in a moment. So Ellis, if you just let us know you're online, and then we're going to get cracking this evening. So, fantastic. Let's make sure Ellis is involved. Has video but no sound now. So Ellis has gone round the other way. Yes, he's in the house, Gary. He's in the house. He's in your house right now. He's in your house right now via the internet. You think, oh my God, where is he? Right, Ellis is in. All right. So, very first, then let's get cracking. I'm really looking forward to this, everybody. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna enable Raghav to be able to be in your house right now, because I'm gonna do this. In fact, it will work. Please work, Will. Come on, help me out here. There we go. Look at that. Look at that fine spectacle of a man that we've got the privilege of looking at right there. I mean, that looks like that's taken in London. Is that in London, Raghav?
Yeah, that is in London. Where did you get that picture from? Was it from my Facebook profile?
I borrowed it. Yeah, I borrowed it.
Yeah, that was in London, one of my favourite places.
Fantastic. Good. So, what a beauty. He is a beauty.
Gary, I like it already. That's brilliant.
So, what I'll do first of all, so we've got the privilege of Raghav, who is a peak performance coach, who's going to be speaking to us this evening about the 7 steps to peak performance. But first of all, do you want to just let everybody know, Raghav, a little bit about you and what it is you've done, and why, most importantly, it is why you do what you do?
Awesome. So, Will, thanks for the introduction, guys. It's really great to be here, and I just want to shed some light on Will, because I've been a privilege to be part of his journey for a while. And I know he started these webinars, and what I really love is that he said, "Rag, can you be on this webinar?" And it's just a pure value webinar. And what I love is there's no pitching back of the room, crazy. It's just like a pure value webinar. So it's great to be here, Will. Thank you for the invite, and great to connect with you guys and your energy in this chat box and the right there. See here, I love your energy. So thank you. As Will really kindly said, I'm a peak performance coach. So my passion is great to hear you got your credit card ready, Gary. Brilliant. My passion is helping people be their very best self. So it doesn't matter if you, for example, had clients who want to be the best in the world that they do. I've worked with a guy that wants to be the top recruiter on the planet, to someone who ultimately her vision of life was just moving down south in the UK and spending more time with the kids and family. And that's what you want to do, and create a really beautiful legacy within a family. But you see, my passion is working with people's commitment, people that have a commitment bigger than just themselves, people that truly understand that being your best has got nothing to do with you. It's about the impact you can then facilitate. It's about the transformation you can create in the world. And I know it's cheesy, but as Mother Teresa said, when you clean your own doorstep, then the world starts becoming clean. So it's about helping people really be their very best self, because once they do that, the impact they're going to have on their family is huge. They're going to be role models for their kids, role models for the whole family, the world around them. If you're a coach, if you're an entrepreneur, you can be a role model for your team. So peak performance is much more than just ourselves. It's about the world. And that's my mission, to help people be the very best and create and live an extraordinary life.
Fantastic. And I certainly am aligned with a lot of what you say, and that's one of the reasons why you're on this webinar this evening. So what do you define as peak performance thing? So peak performance is a term that gets bandied around a lot, but for the purposes of everybody that's on here this evening, what do you define as peak performance?
Yeah, that's a great question. So peak performance for me, in a nutshell, is energetically being aligned. So having the energy, having the mindset, having the focus, having the emotional hunger, the emotional drive, so emotional alignment to create the results you want. So peak performance is just being your best self. As I said, for me, it doesn't matter if you want to literally take on the world in a healthy way, or if you want to be the best mum you can be, which is beautiful, or if you want to leave a really powerful legacy behind for your kids, or if you just want to climb up the promotional chain at work. It's what does it take for someone to be their best, from their mindset, from their emotional management, from their focus, from what they feed their body, and the energy they have. What is it that's going to help someone perform at the very best level they can be, and keep stretching it from time again and again and again? Because growth is the key to life. It feeds our soul. So for me, it's just helping someone get to that place where they can perform and ultimately create the lifestyle they want on their terms with real conviction. Whether it's life, whether it's business, it's that conviction that really sets their world alight and my world alight too.
Fantastic. Well, look, I'm really looking forward to this. So you're going to be sharing with us this evening your 7 steps to peak performance, as I understand it. And Rag and I had a chat before this, and what we really want to encourage this evening, and I appreciate we're not in person and you can't just stick your hand up, but we do really want to encourage some questions to be asked. So Rag's going to do his thing. I'm going to monitor the chat box over here. So Rag's going to get on and start doing what he's doing in any moment. But please, if you do have any questions for Rag or for myself during this webinar this evening, then please obviously pop them down into the chat box so we can so we can get those answered for you. So we want to make this as interactive as possible, considering that you're sitting in your front rooms or wherever it is that you're sitting right now to be listening into this.
Amazing. And well, out of curiosity, how long do we have to play? Because I've got this 7-step process I can take them through.
We've got about 50 minutes.
Cool. 5-0. Nice.
All right. So over to you then, Rag. The 7 steps to peak performance, and a big round of applause.
Thanks, all. Thank you. Yeah, thanks very much. And yeah, I suppose that's the downside to an online webinar. You can get lots of people in one go, but you can't hear the applause. I'm just kidding. That's not why we do it. But well, I appreciate the kind introductions. So guys, it's really great to be here. And what I want to do on today's webinar is I'm someone that really loves just being a little bit impromptu, but just seeing what's going to serve the audience the most. Now, unfortunately, I'm not live and I'm in your house, but I'm not live with you, so I can't hear from you in person about what would make today a really powerful evening. But what I'd like to ask is that you guys have come onto this webinar with questions. I know that because you've come here because there's something more that you want, because you're giving up your Thursday evening to be here, and I commend you guys so much. When I think about my start into personal development, I wish I had the hunger that you guys have today. So I commend you. So you guys are here for something. My mission is to help you get that very outcome itself. So what I like to do, before we jump straight into the content, with your pads and pens, guys, I'd like you to spend just 1 minute asking yourself, what would make today's webinar powerful and life-changing for you? What would make tonight powerful and life-changing? So literally just 1 minute, on top of your head, what would make today really powerful and life-changing for you? Because we want it to change your life. We want today to be powerful. And then I'm going to ask some shares in a second, and I'm going to touch on your content and your questions throughout today as well, while giving you the 7 steps to peak performance. Because it's great if you have this random crazy Indian dude giving you some weird stuff tonight, just chucking loads of content at you with loads of energy, and that's great. But I want you walking away armed with not just some cool content, but knowing you've had your own individual needs met and you've got some really powerful tools and strategies to go out there and make the change you want. So just for 1 minute, on the top of your head, write down as much as you can, just bullet point. What could you walk away with from today that would make today a powerful and life-changing webinar? And when you've got some stuff down, please do type it in the chat box, share it with us, because I'd love to know what that is today and how we can really serve you, myself and Will. So just the last 20 seconds, guys, 30 seconds, what would make today powerful and life-changing? And I invite you to share it in the chat box, and then we can come back to it towards part of the beginning, throughout, and towards the end of this webinar. We can touch on the points you'd like to get from today. So whoever's done, if you just share it in the chat box, let us know what you'd like to get out from today itself. So while you guys are doing that, I'll give you a quick intro to the 7 steps to peak performance. And what I do, guys, keep sharing and make sure you get your answers into the chat box. What would make today powerful and life-changing for you guys? So then we can focus on you and make this about you guys versus content rich. Now, you see, the 7 steps of peak performance, I love this program. I've done events about it. I've run programs, one-day intensives, just using this content, because as a peak performance coach, the reason I stumbled into this field and peak performance, and the reason I came into it was years ago when I'd broken through my own challenges, when I'd turned myself around, going through depression, low self-esteem. I'd been emotionally eating. I'd been all over the place, and I got myself into a point in my life where I just had no compelling future. And I'm just skimming through this because I don't want to. It's not about a sub story. It's about getting to the content today. But I got myself to a really scary place, and once I turned it around, my mom said, "Raghav, you should be a motivational speaker because you'd be really good." Now, motivational speaking is good, and I respect it, but it's not lasting enough. I want to be able to work with someone and really help them create transformation for the long term. I'm talking real long-term lasting change. And that became my obsession. What is it that creates long-term lasting change? I don't want to jump on here and just give you some stuff and you go home, have a shower, and then everything just washes off. I don't want that. I want you guys having tools that can create the difference in the quality of your life over the long time. So that's what led me to peak performance. And through the last few years, working with hundreds and thousands of people running something crazy like 200 events over the last year and a half, 2 years, I've discovered this methodology, these 7 steps that if you can integrate into your life, you're going to have peak performance. Or if one of these things are missing in your life right now, I guarantee you, you're going to be stuck. You're going to need a breakthrough. You're going to hit a plateau. So before we push on, just some of the shares are coming in, guys. You guys rock. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Alice has said, I find I got up and down. So how can you keep your peak performance? How can you keep performance at its peak? Beautiful. Thank you. John is going with the flow. Keep going with the flow, buddy. I love that. Elaine says to finally gain the confidence. Beautiful. Gary gets overwhelmed. Sue says well to have clear, concise, laser-sharp, unswerving focus while maintaining the authentic human touch. Brilliant. And Gary, your wife keeps calling you hippie. I think that's a good thing, and I'm not going to comment about your wife because women make the men who we are today. Beautiful. So, guys, great. Last few, Catherine says that not so much overwhelmed, but doubt. Scared of my vision actually becoming real because I know how powerful it will be. I'd like to get inspired to know what direction my future should take. Brilliant. And to keep moving forward and staying positive. Beautiful. So guys, just based on what Catherine said, I want to share a really powerful distinction with you. Goals are never about the place we go to. That's a mistake. How many times have you achieved a goal and you've got there and you finally brought it into your life and then you think, is this it? Is this all life is? Because you see, we attach so much meaning onto the goals, so much, I'll be happy once I do this, I'll be happy once I do that. But instead, I invite you to see the place you come from, the place you live your life from, intention. So when we come back to, I believe it was Catherine earlier who said she gets scared of the vision because I know how powerful it would be. Just remember that being scared is one place you can come from, Catherine. But inside of you, you've got emotional resources that you can tune into that could completely revolutionize the impact you can have. So fear is one place you could come from. But what could your goals really mean? What's another place you could come from when you think about your goals to take it out this park, to knock it out of the park, to take it up another level? What's a really powerful place all of you can come from today and in the future that allow you to get into peak performance? Because peak performance starts with an intention. Number one, I want to be my best. It comes from that. And doing that is the best way, guys, if you want to shed weight, coming from being your best. If you want to improve your finances, I want to be my best. When we have goals around, I want to lose weight, so I'll be happy, so I'll be good enough. You all know that's bull. You get there and you lost weight, and I went for emotional eating where I was really overweight, and then thought, for me to be good enough, I need to be thin, because all the guys who got dates are thin, so then I went to Holland and Barrett, and I was chugging down metabolism pills to boost my metabolism. And then I became really big again. Throughout all of that journey, I didn't experience happiness once. So it's where do you come from with your goals? Intention is number one, the power of intention. So coming on to the 7 steps of peak performance, I want to take you through this today. And as I do, I want to give you as much as I can for each step without overwhelming you guys. So we will have exercises. And I'm going to make sure we don't finish up too late so we can answer your questions and go through some stuff. Like someone shared something about confidence. I've got a really great strategy for you. Someone shared something about overwhelm. I want to have time to tackle those areas one by one. But let's go into the 7 steps to peak performance. So if there's something right now in your life you're struggling at, or there's something missing, or you feel broken, I guarantee you it's one of these 7 steps. So what is step number 1 to peak performance? And this is, if you want your very best self, if you want to create the most extraordinary results you can, where do you need to begin? Step number 1 is your values. If you've got pad and pen, you want to write that down. Step number 1 is aligning your values, alignment of your values. So what does that mean? I'm going to put it in the chat box for you here, guys. And you're going to see step number 1, alignment of values. Step 1, alignment of values. So what does that mean? Well, most of us, fortunately, live a life by our values. But then times in our life when people lack motivation, they're not following through. It's because their values aren't aligned. They're not finding a way to meet the values. Times in your life where you feel broken, where you feel overwhelmed, where you feel burnt out, is because you're not meeting your values. Values are a key to life. Doing what's important to you, doing what's true to you. Some people don't know their values. So if, for example, you're going through each day and you're not very happy and you're not tapping into that joy inside of you, you're not feeling fulfilled, it's because you're probably not meeting your values every single day. Sadly, some people compromise their values. How does values show up in the working life? Well, one of my role models, someone that I love, is Gary Vaynerchuk. I'm sure you guys have heard of Gary V. If you haven't heard of Gary Vaynerchuk, he's someone I follow. He's fantastic. And he's got this big hustle, like only one life. And my view is hustling is good. Like, I like working hard. But now I've taken a step back because I agree with him that we have one life. But I don't believe you should work all your life. Because no one on their deathbed says, I wish I worked harder. I don't think anyone ever says that. You've got one life, so make sure you live. So bearing that in mind, I had a client recently who said, Rag, Vaynerchuk. So it's Gary. Type in Gary V, Karen. Once you type in Gary V, again, procrastination, Nathan, this is going to really relate to you. This is one of the steps. If you want to become more motivated, align your goals to your values. And I'll share that with you in a second. So one of my clients said, Rag, I'm struggling to hustle. I just can't do it. I'm burning out. I tapped into his top values. You know what his top values were? Number one, freedom. How the heck can you have freedom if you're hustling? Number two was family. Number three was religion. Not only was he compromising his top values, he wasn't meeting them at all by trying to hustle. Because when you don't meet your values, you feel broken, you feel burnt out. Because your values are what's important to you. Your values are, it's like your internal sat-nav that's trying to take you somewhere. And the more you go off track, your sat-nav is going to keep making noise saying, you're off track, you're off track, you're off track. You need to keep aligning. And it's going to wind you up. The other key about values is, I'm sure some of you guys here today are trying to figure out, what's my purpose in life? What should I do? Now, when I came into personal development, I believe everyone needs to discover their purpose. Until I realized that your purpose is never discovered, it's created. You see, I know people, I'm sure you know people that are working in an office and they're very happy with their job. And they come home and maybe they don't mind their job. They haven't got a problem with their job. It doesn't light them up, but they're just in an okay job. But that allows them to come home and spend time with the family, spend time with the kids. Max, welcome. Great to have you on here. Jason, welcome. They get to spend time with the kids. They get to take the kids to freaking Disneyland once a year. They get to watch Game of Thrones, which this girl I was dating, she got me into Game of Thrones. They get to do all these incredible things, but they have a job which is okay. But the job meets their values. So I don't believe in finding a purpose. I believe in creating a purpose, living your values. If you can find a way to live your values every single day, you're going to be happy. The reason people aren't is they can't grow while meeting their values. Growth is something that feeds the soul. If we're not growing, we're dying. So every single day is about finding a way to live in accordance with your values and not compromising them. So values is the first step where I find if people are struggling, if they need a breakthrough, because their values aren't aligned. Now, coming back to who was it that's struggling with procrastination? Nathan, how do you overcome procrastination with your values? Well, I had a client who said, Rag, I'm struggling to go to the gym. I know my why, I know my motivation, but I'm just struggling. I can't find the motivation. What I did was I went through his values, and the way you work them out is you ask yourself, what's important to you about life? This is the question. What is important to you about life? Make a list of your top 30 values, values like love, happiness, joy. Find the top 30. Then out of those, you can pick your top 10 that you like the most. And that's one of the best ways to figure out your values, what's important to you. So it's about finding your 30, finding 30 values, love, happiness, so happiness isn't values, the outcome, love, joy, connection, sex, intimacy, business, enterprise, contribution, growth, health, fitness, finance, work, play, vision. It could be anything. You create 30 values and then you find your top 10. And those are the values that drive you. And you can work out your top 5 out of the top 10. You can prioritize them. So how did I help this client with overcoming procrastination? Well, we looked at his values and we tied his work into the values. He realized that his top value was his family. If he wasn't working out, he wouldn't be a role model for his family. If he wasn't working out, his second value of impact, he couldn't have the impact because he tried to prove that if you follow the lifestyle he has, you can then have the business and keep fit and have an extraordinary life. And he's running seminars. He realized that if he wasn't following through, he wasn't meeting his values. See, he linked his values to his lifestyle. And that's how he's got constant motivation. And lately he's ridden off to France and did this European bike tour, like 100 kilometers each day over like 3 days, 300 kilometers. Even the thought itself tires me out, but there we go. You see, you have to link what you do to your values, and then you're going to have constant motivation. The reason I can work around the clock is one of my top values is impact. I want to impact people. When I'm with someone, I love being able to add value. One of my second values is growth. One of my third values is success. Number 4 is contribution. Number 5 is passion. And you can probably guess all of those just from the way I speak. You can see someone's values in them. But I meet all my values through the work I do. So it's about finding the values that drive you and then living by them. And that's how you're going to create the first step to peak performance. So when I was going to send you guys go home, I'm so used to saying that at a seminar. No. Later on tonight, preferably tomorrow, think about that question of values. What's important to you about life? And then find your top 30 and your top 10. Exactly, using it correctly according to my desires, priorities, essentially being happy. That's where they all lead to, Jason. But what I'd invite you to see is what are the values before being happy? Because happiness is the outcome. Great. Pillar number 2 to peak performance. And let's go through this because I want to then have time to rock with you guys after and take some Q&A. Pillar number 2 is having a powerful legacy than vision. There's a reason I said legacy than vision. The key word is legacy, then vision. Why? Well, when I go into a seminar and ask the audience, guys, how many of you are leaving a legacy behind? Everyone in the audience, or most of the people in the audience, just look at me blankly thinking, what is this crazy Indian dude? No, I'm joking. They don't say that. They think, what is this unbelievable guy talking about? And I say, guys, you're all leaving a legacy behind. Every single one of you are leaving a legacy behind, whether it's the legacy you want or don't want. But my question is, what's the legacy you want to leave behind? Who do you want to be for the people when you pass? Now, it's a scary thought, but the fact is it's going to happen, guys. Like, it's not like the unicorns, which may or may not exist. I guarantee you, this is real. It's going to happen. You're going to leave a legacy behind. So let's embrace it. Let's embrace it. What's the legacy you want to leave behind? Now, why does legacy equal vision? Well, most of us design our vision. I watch this video, I watch this speaker, and then, oh, they've got the really nice cars. I want this car, I want this lifestyle. But yet, the legacy they want to leave behind is living with love. Having a selfish life does not equal a legacy. And of course, Alice, I'll share with you. Absolutely, it'd be my pleasure. Having a selfish lifestyle does not equal a contribution legacy. If you want to leave a mark behind, you need to make a mark in this lifetime. Elon Musk is going to leave a legacy behind by what he does in this lifetime. So your vision is created by the legacy. Start with legacy first, and then create a vision. Now, why is this important? And Alice, I'm going to come back to your question in a second. What's my legacy? It's important because growth feeds the soul. And every day is something that, having a vision is something that drives us, something that excites us, something that gets us up and out of bed. It allows us to focus on something because what you focus on expands. If you don't have a legacy right now, and if you don't work on your legacy, you're going to be building someone else's legacy. It's a sad truth, but the truth will set you free. Cheesy, I know, than a pizza. That's such a cheesy expression. It's the truth. If you don't create your legacy, you'll be building someone else's legacy. So having that vision is what's going to inspire you. It's what's going to help you be motivated. Having a vision that does these things. EMI, empower, motivate, inspire. The key word is conviction. Not some random vision for the sake of it because you were told to by someone on a webinar, but it's conviction. Conviction is what drives us. That's the fuel. So what's my legacy? As Ellis said, my legacy is to spread the message of living empowered throughout the planet. What does living empowered mean? Well, the reason I do what I do is because I had the privilege of coming across some really incredible tools that helped me change my life. And what it taught me was the power within you is greater than anything outside of you. If you want to change some part of your life, if you want to shift any part of your life, your business, your thinking, your focus, to get more confidence, to get more results, we have to do that by starting by shifting our internal world, not the outside world. These tools that I've been really privileged to come across, I want to give them to kids, students, government. I want people to feel empowered, which means and they want to make a difference in their life, they can make the difference from working inside out, not outside in, not looking for what they need outside of them, but going internally and discovering what's real, discovering what's true, discovering who they are, and then creating their life from that. So knowing that they can change their mindset, they can change their focus, they can change what emotions they're holding on to, they can change their decisions, they can create a life out of their wildest dreams if they develop that commitment. That's what my legacy is. I want people to feel empowered to go and create the results they want. And that's just my big message. And I love sharing that throughout the world, and it's led me to some pretty big projects, including pitching to a member of the House of Lords, and that was really cool. One of my business role models, we finally got a meeting, and we presented this really incredible project, and he said, I'm in. Hell yeah, let's do this. So I can't say much more. It'll be coming out soon, and it's not cliffhanger, I promise, but I can't say much more because of confidentiality. But this vision has led me to bigger things. You see, it's your vision, Nathan, that's going to also pull you through or push you through the toughest of times. What keeps me going? Having something to focus on, thinking about the impact. And earlier, I think it was, where is it? Let's have a look. Karen, I don't know if it's Karen or Catherine. I think it was Catherine. Forgive me if I've got the wrong names. I don't want to scroll all the way to the top. You spoke about the fear around the vision. You see, it's the place you can come from. Visualizing the impact and then seeing the impact, how does that make you feel? Because I guarantee you that once you create the world from the inside out, and once you focus on that and focus on your vision, you're going to feel inspired. Once you focus on the impact, you're going to feel enlightened, because seeing others shine never dampens anyone's spirit or their light. It only makes yours brighter. So I invite you to think about the impact you're going to have for your vision, because the vision is not about you. It's about what you're going to deliver, because what you focus on expands. Sue says, living life from the inside out came to me by my lifestyle choice. When I let go of my ego, that's beautiful, Sue. Because to live from the inside out is a really powerful trip to abandon your ego, connect with your soul, and connect with who you are. So thank you for your share. Really beautiful. What's pillar number 3? Number 1 is aligning your values. Number 2 is, was it Kathy? Whoever's, apologies about that. I'm just going through this because I want to make sure I've got enough time for you guys right at the end. But thanks for the correction, Alice. And number 2 was the vision and legacy. So today or tomorrow, I invite you guys to sit down and think about what's your legacy. If you want some questions to help you, I'll give you some questions. Question number 1 is, and this is quite out there, right? This is quite, some people call this dark, but it needs to be done. If you're on your deathbed and your grandkids came up to you and said, Grandma, Granddad, how should I live my life? What does it take to live an extraordinary rich life? Write that down. That's the answer. Whatever the answer is to that question, what would you advise your kids to do? Your grandkids, the people you love around you. That's question number 1. Question number 2 is, even what do you want your funeral to look like? When you pass, what do you want people to say about you? Will there be even anyone at your funeral? Or, okay, cool, I'll put that in the chat. When I did this, I had this lady that was an interior designer who said, oh my God, Rag, my funeral is going to be bright pink. We're going to have cheesecake. I was like, no, Christine, no. I was like, we need to focus on the message behind this. Not what cake, you can put the cake if you like, but she got really excited and she chose to have a nice pink interior room, just in case you guys are wondering. Anyway, cool. So question 1 is, what advice would you have for your grandkids on how to live an extraordinary, wait 1 second guys, let's write this down. Ordinary life. What does it take to live an extraordinary life? That's question number 1. If it's not about grandkids for you, if it's loved ones, just change grandkids to loved ones, to whoever. It doesn't matter who it is. What does it take for them to live an extraordinary life? What advice? Question number 2 is, how do you want your funeral to be, and what will everyone? Just to clarify, guys, this has got nothing to do with the cake you're going to have served, the sandwiches. It's got nothing to do with the music that's going to be played. Oh my God, I want Justin Bieber. No, this is just purely about, I know some of you guys out there like Justin Bieber, but this is purely about just the message. What will everyone be saying once you're gone? You know, really quickly, I was at a funeral in India and we're passing it by. And at the back, there are these family members crying and they're upset. And right at the front of the funeral procession, there was the other half of the family going crazy and dancing and celebrating. And I said to my mum, what is going on here? What the heck are they doing? And my mum said, Raghav, they're celebrating one extraordinary life this person has lived. That can be your legacy. That could be the impact you're going to have in the world around you. And that's in your control. So that's pillar number 2. Have fun with that, guys, tonight, tomorrow. And Gary, thanks for sharing. Beautiful. I need to check out who that is. I don't actually know Gloria Estefan. I feel like I should, but I don't. So I'll check her out. And then number 3 is your strategy. What is the strategy that it's going to take to bring this vision into reality? Now, the way I do this is, thanks, Gary. The way I do the strategy piece is I take a big vision, I take a big legacy, and I factor it down to 1 year, 1 year's time. So if your vision hopefully exceeds a year, because this is a vision of your life, and guys, if you're not sure about your life's vision yet, create it. You don't need to create the vision tonight. Allow yourself to discover. Because here's just my 2 cents really quickly on someone who hasn't found their life's purpose. This doesn't need to be a sad time. This can be the most exciting time, because my belief is that if you haven't found your vision, it's because you don't know yourself well enough. The more you discover who you are, the more you're going to discover what lights your world up, what your values are. So this is the most exciting time of your life, because you're going to learn so much about yourself, and you're going to see what excites you, what lights your world up. You're going to find out what you want to create. So instead of coming from a place of fear, I invite you to come from a place of excitement. Allow this discovery to be the most exciting thing in the world. Like you're a kid and you're about to open up your Christmas present, and you're actually going to get something cool inside the box if you persevere and if you get through all the wrapping and do what it takes to find that gift. So then with strategy, I break it down. Where do you want to be this time next year? So I create a 1-year vision with my clients when I do this event, and they think about where they want to be in a year's time. They paint the picture. So if you imagine your bigger vision, where would you like to be in 1 year's time that would allow you to make humongous progress to then go on for the next year and the next year to ultimately achieve your vision? So what helps is putting a date and a time on the ultimate vision. When do you want to be there? How many years? And then you break it down and see where you want to be in a year's time. And then when I think about the year, I focus on my habits and rituals and standards. I set maybe a month goal. Where do I want to be in a month's time? But the key here, when it comes to strategy, if I can give you anything, it's just this. Habits, rituals, standards are the key to peak performance, guys. Habits, rituals, and standards. Why habits, rituals, standards? Well, as one of my mentors, Jim Rohn, said, how you start the day is how you run the day. Either you run the day or the day will run you. Because my belief is that if you want to own your life, and I'm sure a lot of you want to own your life, you want to own your business, you want to own a part of your life or business. If you want to do that, you have to do that on a day-by-day basis. Because a lot of us think we've got tomorrow. Tomorrow doesn't come. We've only got today. Today is the only thing that's guaranteed. If you want to own your life, you have to own your day. If you can own the day, you'll own the week. Then you'll own the month. And then the year. And then ultimately your life. But if you can't own the day, and if you keep losing your day because you're not focused, you're procrastinating, you're not making things happen, you're going to struggle. So you have to start by owning your day, having habits in place, rituals in place, standards in place. What are some rituals you can do? Well, the first step is develop. And Ellis, I appreciate that. And I'm just going to come back onto you in a second. The key is develop a morning ritual, guys. Now, for Ellis here, you said, find it hard to develop a routine with young children. I get that. Sometimes young children are there, but it's always about stacking the deck in the favor. It's not always going to be easy. And sometimes young kids are there and we have to prioritize them. And I totally get that. I completely get that. But it's about creating our rituals in a way that's not going to be, our life isn't going to be built around their own habits and their own fun and the joy and their excitement. So I've got clients who wake up an hour early before the kids are up to do the rituals. I've got a client that really gets into the rituals once their kids have gone to bed or once their kids have gone to school, depending on if you're doing evening rituals, morning rituals. So the key here, guys, is to stack the deck in your favor. And I know it's an American term. I've got a lot of American clients and friends. It's stacking the deck in your favor, which means you're favoring the odds. You're putting the odds in your favor. You're allowing yourself to win. So children can get in the way, but they don't need to be your excuse. You can find a way to work around your kids because they're top performers that have a family. and really an extensive family. But I'd start, Alice and all of you, I'd start with the morning ritual, which is every day when you wake up, get into state. Having morning ritual that allows you to focus, like really quickly. And Karen says I start working out every morning for 30 minutes. Beautiful. Sue says I aim to rise an hour earlier than expected because of the rest of the house. Think, read, meditate, etc. Paul, I find that sometimes if you don't get it done early, the day exactly. And Kieran gets up at 5:30. Guys, this is beautiful. I like that. So Kieran, you guys can inspire each other. You've got your perfect peer group right here. Wow. You guys should be leading the webinar. And there's an idea for Will in the future. But you see, morning rituals are powerful because if you can own the day, you're going to own your life. So some of the things that I do when I wake up, I start with gratitude. I wake up and I smile and just get really grateful. And I say, good morning, God. It's great. I'm so grateful to be alive. One of my mentors years ago, he taught me this really powerful ritual. He said, Rag, when you wake up, always tell yourself, good morning, good morning. It's great to be alive. Today's going to be the best day of my life. I'm blessed. And I love that. But you see, I took that and I made it my own because I want it to be my words, not his words. So come up with a gratitude incantation because gratitude feeds the soul. It makes you really grateful and appreciative of the life you have. It's what makes people feel emotionally rich. So every day for the past 4 years, I wake up and I tell myself, good morning, it's great to be alive. Every day is a gift. Every day is a blessing. Every day is a celebration. Today's going to be the best day of my life. And I say that again and again and again with so much repetition. It's now ingrained in my mind. I do it without even realizing I'm saying it. And I know that ritual even better than my own name. I programmed it and hardwired it into my mind. Guys, I'm loving the shares. Thank you. Thanks for all your shares. Beautiful. So rituals are powerful. Develop a morning ritual that gets you into state. So I do gratitude. After gratitude, I do a bit of prayer, a bit of priming. But then I feed my mind. I feed my mind with visualization, which is number one. I have a vision board. I visualize all the goals I want to achieve and everything I want to do, and I bring it into my life. I imagine it's real and I feel it from inside. I visualize. And then I get into focus mode. What do I want to create today? And I look down at my agenda and I see what I've got planned for today. So I always plan my days in advance. Rock and roll. I go and do it. So you see, rituals can adjust, come into in form, but you guys just design your own rituals that work for you. The key is to have a ritual that serves you. Everyone's different. Amazing, guys. Thanks for your shares. So after strategy, what comes next? Number 4 is mindset. Mindset is the 4th pillar. As one of my mentors, again, Jim Rohn says, I love Jim Rohn. He says, your mind is like a cup of coffee. You got to feed it daily because if you don't, life will come up to your coffee and put poison in it. You drink the poison, you're going to die. Instead, you got to feed it with gifts. You got to feed it with nutrition. You got to feed it with role models, inspirations, ideas of what's possible. If you guys are ever feeling down a little bit, feed your mind. Don't make it about yourself, but listen to someone that's been through a tough time. Read some great books. Study something that's going to inspire you, but daily. If you want to develop a really strong mindset, guys, feed your mind daily. Half an hour minimum. Amazing rituals, guys. Alice, thank you for your share. Catherine, thank you for your share. Gary, great, thank you. Every day, guys, feed your mind. Half an hour. Listen to something on the way to work. You've got Audible. Audible is this app from Amazon. If you haven't checked out Audible, you can download a book every month. It's 10 quid a month. You get a free book, and you can listen to it again and again. Every single day, I feed my mind. If I haven't, I make sure I feed it before I go in the evening, before I go to bed. Every day is feeding my mind and strengthening it because your brain is like a muscle. What you give it will shape it. If you feed it with nutrition, you're going to develop a powerful growth mindset. You know what, John? Being pissed can drive you to change, but then I get grateful for my toughest times because I believe gratitude is one of the most powerful emotions you can come from because when you're in that state, you become resourceful. You can make better decisions. When I'm pissed, I've made bad decisions. And guys, pissed is in angry, not getting drunk. I don't really drink often now since I've been in this PD space, but I mean, as in pissed is in being angry. I've made some bad decisions when I've been angry, guys. I'm sure you have too. So instead, I shift my state because research today says that if you hold on to anger for more than 4 or 5 minutes, your immune system goes down by 4 or 5 hours. It's crazy. I love Paul's ritual, walking the dogs and listening to audiobooks. So instead, I think, where do I want to come from? And what's the most powerful emotion I can hold on to right now? Love is one of them. Passion, certainty, focus. I think about where I want to come from. So once we worked on mindset, I'm just going to go through the last few quickly, guys, and then we can enter like any questions that we have. We can have a bit of Q&A before we wrap up. Pillar number 5 to peak performance is your environment. You see, a lot of the time we forget the power of environment, because who we spend time with is who you become. You see, we forget the power of our peer group. There's so many quotes about you're the average of the 5 people you spend time with, but you know what? It's so true. You become influenced by your environment. So if you can start thinking about who do I want to spend time with and bringing these people into your life, that's what's going to make it happen. That's what's going to make you feel more confident. That's what's going to allow you to be at peak performance. If you want to get hungry, spend time with 4 or 5 hungry people. Your hunger is going to go through the roof. If you want to be underconfident, spend time with underconfident people. If you want to become indecisive, which none of you guys do, spend time with indecisive people. Who you spend time with is who you become. So I invite you guys, as a question today, to think about who do you want to spend. There's a reason I'm capitalizing this word. It's not about, okay, Rag told me to be ruthless, I'm going to cut people out. It's not about cutting. It's about who do I want to spend more time with. So you're not focusing on what you want less, you're focusing on what you want more. Yeah. Hope that helps, guys. So the power of your environment. Bringing extraordinary people into your life. You guys are extraordinary people. Look how many amazing people there are in the chat. Like, your activity is amazing, your energy is amazing, your engagement tonight has been amazing. All of you have got incredible ideas. You're all reading books. Why not? Why not, why not just connect with each other and form peer groups and hold each other accountable monthly? Or whatever that is. So, moving on to the 6th step, guys, the final 2. Number 6 is health. Mastery of health. Because health is really wealth. I never had these final 2 steps as part of this program until recently, because I realized if you don't have the energy for life, you're going to feel drained. You're not going to have the motivation to do anything. So thinking about what you feed your body. Do you feed your body with crap? And I'm going to be very, very raw about this, guys. I'm going to be very direct. If you're living at McDonald's, you're going to be screwed. I know some people, like this story about Warren Buffett, how he eats McDonald's every day because it works for him. Okay, whatever. But science shows that what you feed your body impacts how you think. If you want to feel rich, feed yourself with rich foods. If you want to feel crap, feed yourself with crap foods. At the end of the day, what you feed your body with is what you will experience. Something that I do, and this is quite, again, raw, no pun intended, but since I came in PD, I always start my morning with an alkalized breakfast. I've had broccoli and eggs every single morning for the past, just because it lifts me up. I feel light. My body breaks the food down, and it goes into my body, and I just feel energized. I'm not working hard to digest rubbish food, and it fills me up. Now, there's times I eat food by zigzag, because you've got to zigzag. Life is life. But it's giving your body energy. Because if you don't have the energy to go and do stuff, guys, you're going to be screwed. Seriously. Health is wealth. So are you exercising? Are you eating great food? And to eat healthy, it's simple. So health is wealth. And very soon, just through my research, I'm slowly going to go into veganism. I can feel myself getting there. But energy is the key to life. Everyone says, Rag, where do you get your energy from? Why feed myself? I never used to be confident as a kid. I never used to have any energy when I was younger. This just comes from feeding myself with the right nutrition. And then pillar number 7 is, Pillar number 7 is grace. The power of grace. I love grace. What grace means, as Deepak Chopra talks about it, Tony Robbins talks about it, Wayne Dyer talks about it, is the forces of the universe. It doesn't matter if you believe in the secret, the law of attraction, unicorns, ponies, as my friends do, rainbows, candy floss, marshmallow, whatever your belief system is. I respect everything. If you're religious, if you're not religious, I believe in just one God. That's just my belief system. But whoever you are, it's just connecting into your heart and getting grateful. It's just spending every day getting some perspective, what you appreciate about your life, and who do you owe gratitude to. Grace for me is just tapping into the bigger forces and just being grateful, because as much as we think we're creators, at the end of the day, we don't control the economy, we don't control the weather, we're on a ball of gas in the middle of several planets, and if we were one planet away from the Earth, we'd either freeze or burn. This planet is 1 in 7 billion, I believe philosophers said, that this world's an accident. We're not an accident. This is powerful. There's something bigger going on, and we're not in control. Elon Musk is investing billions thinking we're in the Matrix. He's trying to wake us up, and I read this the other day. I've read this several times. Elon Musk is spending billions trying to wake us up from the Matrix he thinks we're in. And it's one of the sharpest guys on the planet. So there we go. Those are my 7 steps to peak performance. Grace is powerful. Just every day contemplating. And just, because we need some luck. That's what luck is. Everyone that's been successful, they've tapped into grace. So that's my 7 steps to peak performance, guys. I know Will said 50 minutes, so I don't know if we have to wrap up now, but what I'd love to do firstly is just take any questions if we didn't cover any of the content that you guys wanted covered. And I'd like to just thank you guys for being an extraordinary group of human beings today. I loved your engagement. I love the banter coming up and down the group. You see, I'm really immature, and I laugh at like the funny jokes, and I was almost giggling myself as well with some of the comments. But guys, much love to you, and thank you for letting me be here. So if we've got time for questions, there'll be questions. Otherwise, it was a privilege. And Will, thanks for having me on here today.
It's been an absolute pleasure to have you on, and obviously, whilst people are still writing away questions, let's just recap them for purposes. Let's just recap so people have got them if they haven't been writing them down. I know there was a couple of people that joined late, so the 7 steps off the bat from the top, Rag, just for the people that turned up a little bit late.
Amazing, awesome, and Gary, absolutely. Let's go through the 7 steps. So, guys, step number 1 is living in alignment with your values. So, discovering and living in alignment with your values. Step number 2 is creating an EMI. Empowering, motivating, inspiring, creating an EMI, legacy, then vision. And just on that, it helps to build that off the values, to make sure your values and your legacy are aligned. They support each other, and that's how you create motivation. Step number 3 is to put a powerful strategy in place. We all need a strategy to get from A to B, to close the gap between where we are and where we want to be in the fastest time possible. Step number 4 is the mindset. Because mindset is 80% of life. As well as taught by one of my mentors, Tony Robbins. 80% of life is mindset, 20% is strategy. Master the mindset, you master your life. Number 5 is your environment. Who are you spending time with? Who are you hanging around with? Who are your peer group? Number 6, the power of health. Health is wealth. Energy is the key to life. And then number 7 is grace. Connect with grace, connect with gratitude, connect with appreciation for yourself and the incredible world around you. And those are my 7 steps. If you find that you're feeling stuck at any point in your life, I guarantee you it's going to be one of those 7 steps.
Fantastic. So, no, thank you very, very much for sharing those. And look, I mean, the thing that I love about working in this industry and working the role that I do is I'm blessed in the respect that I'm constantly able to be learning. I'm constantly getting reminded about so many of these different things, and I completely agree with absolutely everything that you said there. And as some of you guys have mentioned throughout the comments, there's things that are tough, and there are things that you do need to tweak, and there are things that we do need to change, whether that's getting up early, whether it's the food side of things, whatever it is. But it's important to remember, like what Rag starts with at point number 1 is you live life aligned to your values, and that is what's so important as far as I'm concerned, because once you connect on that side of things, and everything else is able to expand thereafter. So we've got I mean, again, I've personally taken loads of notes. I know lots of other people have. So has anybody got any? We've got about 5 or 6 minutes left. So has anybody got any specific questions for Rag that you want to ask? Anything based on what we've gone through? Anything that you want to ask me, maybe? I'm here. Obviously, tonight is mainly about Rag, but by all means, if you've got any questions for me, then that would be great. So fire your questions away, and then we'll be able to go through there. So there's one that's come through so far that's been asked by Gary. So have you written a book yet, Rag?
No, I haven't written a book, Gary. It's in the coming. It's on the process. So not yet. It will be out this soon because I've had a few ideas for a book. And for me, I'm just feeling into right now which one do I want to write. And it'll be coming out very soon. So just keep your eyes peeled. I'm looking forward to that.
Okay, fantastic. So Gary's also done something which I think is a really good idea. So what I'd like each of you to do, so even if you haven't got any questions, if you can just post what's been one thing. So I'm sure, I mean, Gary says he's got 7 pages of notes, and I've got a few pages of notes here. But what would be the one thing that stands out the most for you this evening, that has been the most beneficial for you this evening based on what Rag said. So you just post that comment. It'd be interesting for us to see what's been most valuable, most eye-opening. What's the thing that you're going to take away from this and you're going to be able to implement on that side of things. So a few more questions. So one from Ellis. How long has it taken you to master all of this?
I haven't mastered it, and I don't think I know anyone that's mastered it. Even someone like Tony Robbins, who's probably the #1 peak performance animal demigod guy on the planet. He's done so much on himself. I don't even think he's mastered it, because there's always stuff that comes out about his private life, right? So everyone's got unresolved issues. But in terms of mastering it, very, very few have. I mean, if I could master it, that'd be an incredible level to get to. So I believe you can achieve mastery on some level, but to be a real master, it's, you know, the likes of Robin Sharma, Tony Robbins are up there. So I'm on the journey. I'm getting there. It's growth. And I love that I'm getting there, because it just pushes me more and more every single day. And when my standards aren't aligned, I get to kick myself in the backside.
And I think for me, we certainly share the same view in that respect. Is it isn't a destination. It isn't I've ticked that box. It's a continual process. I mean, I was out with Tony back in August now, and he's still, like you say, he's sharing the same things. He's constantly working on things, constantly going through these processes, and constantly, as Stephen Covey would say, sharpening the saw, you know, constantly refining this process to enable us to stay on top of our game. And I would 100% agree with that side of things. So
amazing.
How aligned are these with Stephen Covey's 7 habits? Do you know the answer to that, Rag? How aligned are they with Stephen Covey's habits?
You know, honestly, truth be told, I haven't actually read any of his books. Some people are like, wow, you haven't? But there's just so many books I'm reading right now. And Stephen Covey's when I first came to industry, I associated him with more management. So then I got a little bit bored at one point. Then his work is something I want to come on to, but right now I'm just studying other sources. For example, I've got a massive list of books. I've read loads and I'm reading, and his books are one that I will come on to soon. So I can't comment on his work.
Okay. Fair enough. Another question from me, from Nathan. Can we make your next webinar playable on any browser? This particular webinar platform is one that we've been advised, which is one of the better ones for interaction and for uptime, for enable us to save the webinars. And unfortunately, it is only playable through Google Chrome. So this will be the platform we'll be using certainly for the short to medium term, based on what we've been advised, Nathan. But hopefully you've been able to get on okay and it's working all right today. So hopefully it will be able to work okay for you in the future, my friend. Very true. I know it's always a growing process, but no. I'm not sure what you mean there, Ellis. But let us know what you mean. Catherine couldn't agree. So Gary couldn't agree more. Gary has said, create your legacy. That's, Catherine, are you saying that's the thing that's been the most useful for you to create your legacy and identify what that is? That's, let us just know. That'd be cool. Gary, so, Rag, do you have bad days? Loads
of bad days. We all go through tough times. Anyone that tells you they don't have bad days is BSing you. They're BSing you. That's why one of the best gifts I was given by my coach was I was being coached by him. I said, Coach, I'm feeling really underconfident today about this. And he said, you know what, Rag? Me too. I had that last week and I was there. I felt really freaking scared, Rag. And it was just a really powerful moment, because the best leaders show they're humans, in my opinion. And I'm always open about that on Facebook Live. And I always talk about my tough times. So we all go through tough times. But the key is finding the gift in that situation and not living there. If you can do those two things, you're going to bounce back from your toughest times more quicker and quicker and quicker, which is what I find myself doing. But just finding the gift in your toughest times, because the toughest times are the moments you grow from.
Couldn't agree more. I was listening, funnily enough, this morning, I was listening to a TED talk by a friend of mine, James Sinclair, and his whole talk was on bounceability and how quickly you can bounce back from these from these situations. And again, I would agree. I mean, having the bad days, I mean, Gary said, are they not so good? Yeah, that's a way of reframing it. But the reality is sometimes stuff happens, you know, and it's okay. We're emotional beings. The heart was the first part of us that was made. It was certainly made before the brain. So sometimes we feel emotional, and these emotional feelings, they do have ability to override us, and I would agree. I certainly get asked, "Are you positive all the time?" Well, no, I'm not. I'm really not. But that's the case. It's like, right, well, how do we deal with the situation? How do we move on? How do we work through these processes?
Yeah.
So, very good. So, Paul, top takeaway for you was the section about your vision and actions to head towards it. So that's great. So hopefully you'll be able to continue to take more action now, Paul. Sue, decide the legacy you want to leave behind, then create the vision to get you there has been your biggest takeaway, which is fantastic. Kate, develop a morning ritual and stick to it. Couldn't agree more. It's ironic, Rag. So I did a post, I don't know if you saw it yesterday, about. So I had a very much a day of procrastinating.
I saw that. It was a great picture. I loved it.
Yeah, try to have a bit of fun with it. It did look a little bit almost too serious, but hey. And that for me is because my mornings are really important for me for setting up the day, and it just didn't happen that day. So Max, getting up earlier to set your day right, you don't do it and you're so lazy. And I think I'll speak for most people here, Rag, certainly speak for us, is that Max, when you're doing this, it will be difficult at first. Yeah, it will be challenging, and you think, I could just snooze and I could just keep the alarm a little bit set. But what you've got to remember is if you can wake up 2 hours earlier a day, you add a month to your year. Yeah. And people say, I wish I had more time, If you wake up 2 hours earlier a day and use that day to not only wake up earlier and get going, but wake up, prime your days, do your morning ritual, set yourself up, then that day is so much more efficient, and I think you gain even more than that month. So that's been really good. I hope that's been useful. Sarah's also going to develop a morning ritual starting tomorrow. How's that for action, Rag?
Amazing. That's awesome.
Starting tomorrow, jumping straight in. Ellis is the same as Kate, which is great. So morning ritual. Kate also has young Ellis do a family morning ritual. I love that idea.
That's beautiful.
Okay. How about Facebook Live? I'm guessing that comment, Karen, is with regards to the webinar. It's just because of the platform that we need to use to be able to interact and to be able to record it as well and save it for future reference. Gary, thanks for putting it together. Just meant to get from the state you were. Right, okay. So Ellis's question, Rag, is when you were saying that you shared earlier that you were in some lower states, and you mentioned depression and you were in low position. So what was it that enabled you to go from there to getting to where you are now?
Yeah, amazing. I mean, one of the factors was the power of commitment. I love commitment. Commitment is one of my favorite words. It's what I look for in all my clients. And I love working with people like committed to change. Whether you're a 17-year-old girl, it's one of my favorite clients, someone who's playing a bigger game. And I was watching this John Assaraf video really, earlier. You want to go onto YouTube, type in John Assaraf, John Assaraf from The Secret, and put in John. Type that into YouTube. Google those exact words. And there's a Gold Cost video that comes up, and it's incredible. It's really motivational. And he says that his mentor at the time said, John, are you interested or are you committed to winning? And John said, what's the difference? And he said, if you're interested, you'll do what's convenient. But if you're committed, you'll do what it takes. And I love that. And that's for me what I got to, because sometimes we need to go through the toughest times in our life to then get to that place where we are committed to doing what it takes. And I was put there because I needed that lesson, and it taught me who I really could be. So it's just commitment. Because as Tony Robbins says, change is not a matter of ability. It's a matter of motivation. So once you're committed to changing, you can do anything. If someone held a gun next to their head, guys, and said, you got to do your morning rituals and wake up 2 hours early for the next year, you'd do it. No problem. Because you've got the commitment in place. So once you're committed, you can make anything happen.
Couldn't agree more. Nathan, we look forward to seeing you on the 12th to Unlock Your Potential. That'll be cool. Catherine, I love the fact you've kept account of the word legacy 27 times in 3 days.
Amazing, isn't it? I saw that.
But very true. You will require it to create your legacy. very important. Legacy and environment, very powerful from Karen. How much sleep do we work on? Well, I'll let you answer first, Rag. How many hours do you sleep on?
You know what? It really varies what my body needs. It varies because, some people like Robin Sharma talks about the 5 a.m. club. I don't buy that because I'm an entrepreneur. I go to bed at 1 o'clock. There's no way I'm going to wake up at 5 o'clock. If I go to bed at 3, I'm not having 2 hours sleep. So if I don't exercise on one day, which is, I'm going to be exercising every day now, hopefully, and I need at least, if you're exercising, I've got P2, who's one of the top personal trainers I've met. He says, if you exercise, you need more rest. Simple as that. Your body needs to rest, guys. If you're not exercising, then again, you got to trust your body. For me, I try and get 6 hours, minimum of 6, between 6 to 7. If I'm exercising, maybe I need 8 hours sleep because your body needs to rest and recover. So what I don't want to do, guys, is give you a figure and then you try and do that. You need to test your body. So I'd recommend over the next week, just set a time limit on how much you're going to sleep. Test it. See if you feel energized. If you do, knock it back 15 minutes. See if you wake up that much earlier. So you got to trial it because everyone's body is different. There's no one glove fits all. That's just my view.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I'm a massive advocate for living life on your terms and literally your terms. So my ideal amount of sleep, if I'm eating well and I'm exercising, for me it's 7 hours, right? Mm-hmm. I do genuinely enjoy waking up in the morning, getting up before everybody, getting out on the roads before everybody's out there. I like getting out and walking out. I live by a river and getting out by the river. So for me, if I can get up at 5, then I'll do that. But right now, it's the ice hockey season. Like this evening, right now, I'm going to finish up. I'm going to grab something to eat. I'm driving half an hour to Chelmsford. I've got ice hockey training. It doesn't start till 10:30 at night. I don't get off the ice until midnight. I won't be home in bed until 1 o'clock in the morning. And the last thing I would be doing tomorrow morning is waking up at 5 o'clock to get in the gym for 6:30. So, but for me, what works best is 7.5 hours typically. If I've done 3, 4, 5 days on that back to back, then I might do like a 4 or 5 hour sleep. But anything longer than that, I actually find I get really lethargic as well. So if I sleep longer than that, then it has a big impact on me. So
it's all about what you eat as well. If you're eating the wrong foods, you're going to wake up a lot later. And that's why I'm slowly going towards veganism, because I've got some vegan friends. And I'm doing it because of spiritual and food reasons. But I've got vegan friends that sleep 4 hours a night, 5 hours a night, and they wake up and they're refreshed because the food, the body gets the best food, the best fuel. So it's about what you feed yourself as well.
Yeah, I mean, I did for best part of 3 months actually on the back of first going to see Tony Robbins, lived pretty much a vegan lifestyle, and yeah, I had loads of energy. The analogy that I always use with people, and like I say, I still eat meat now. I do try and cut out a lot of dairy wherever possible. So like, I don't drink milk out of choice. I'll drink coconut milk.
It's good.
And I limit the amount of certainly red meat that I have. But is that if you think about the animal kingdom, if you think of the most powerful, strongest animals, what are they? And typically they're like the gorillas, the elephants. They're strong, powerful animals, but they're vegetarian, right? So in that respect, that's something to bear in mind. And then you think of lions. Well, lions, yeah, they're big and aggressive, and they eat loads of meat. They eat loads of meat, and they sleep. Hence, sleeping lions, right? So it's something to just bear in mind on that side of things. Send out a recording of the webinars. No, Nathan, unfortunately not. All the webinars are recorded, but they're recorded for people exclusively in Willpower, which is our online group. So obviously, if you guys do want to tune in, I'm going to be doing these webinars every couple of weeks. Then obviously you have to join in live, or obviously be a member of Willpower. What else have we got going on? Okay. John 5 to 6. Food is fuel. Elaine needs 8 hours. Listen, I don't think there's anything to be unfortunate about, Elaine. You need 8 hours. Yeah, that's it. Happy days. Max, I would recommend, and I don't actually use it myself, but I know there's an app you can use that you literally put your phone under your pillow or something along those lines, and it sort of lets you know the best time to wake up based on how much you're moving about and whatnot. So maybe worth looking into that. to help you get a bit of guidance initially to get a bit closer on finding out about those hours. Karen's got lots. Okay, very sleepy vegetarian. Change starting tomorrow. I love it, guys. And that's the thing as well. I mean, Ray, I'm sure you'll agree on this, is that it's not about waiting for a Monday for a new week to start. If you want to start making change, start making change tomorrow. You know, whether it's your sleep, whether it's your food, whether it's your values, whether it's your EMI, whether it's your strategy you're going to put in place, whether it's your environment, your health, starting your gratitude, your morning rituals. You can do all of that literally tomorrow.
Yeah, unless there's a reason you need to wait for Monday, like your boss is back in the office or something. If you're going to do it in 2 days' time, if you think you are, you probably won't do it in 2 days' time. If you can't do it now, you're not going to do it later. So that's accurate for about 98% of goals. Not all, but most. Unless there's a real reason you need to wait, like someone's going to come back, or you get situations like that.
Cool. Right. Well, I want to say on behalf of everybody that can't say thank you. Verbally, I know they can certainly say it via the chat box, but I would love to say a huge thank you for being the very first guest of the webinar. So a big round of applause.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you.
It's been an absolute honour to have you on here, and I know that the guys have got loads and loads and loads of value. So a huge thank you. And I know that we're in the process of getting you to come and speak at the Elite Network, and for some of the wonderful people to see you in person as well. So we're in talks on those side of things, which will be great. And yeah, well, look, it's been a really, really good evening, and thank you very much for your time. And we'll look forward to speaking again very soon, Rag.
Look forward to it. It's a pleasure. Thank you so much.
I have just got one request from everybody. Obviously, you're all in the Elite Network. Obviously, you wouldn't have had the link. If you think tonight has been of value and you've enjoyed this, then please post your comments saying how great you thought the webinar was, how great you thought Rag was, what it was that you learned, because then that will encourage more people to come on for these. And the more people that, by you doing that, you could potentially making a difference to somebody who does tune into the next one that could potentially learn something that changes your life. So you do have an ability to make a difference, not only for yourself, but on others. So please post away your comments onto the Elite Network community to encourage as many people to get onto these webinars and take advantage of the value moving forward. So Rag, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much. And everybody else, thank you. Have a good evening.